Okay, so we had an objective today for Geometry Notes 10.7. Define the areas of circles, sectors, and segments of circles. So that's the order. Areas of circles, segments of circles, and sectors of circles. So I've got circumference and area. We got those going on. This is area. This is circumference. They're close in. Go ahead. Go ahead. They're very close in what's going on. You've got to make sure you know the difference between the two formulas. It's one of the most popular mistakes people will make on the test. They'll grab the wrong one. Okay? And people, really? I mean, come on. No, really. Come on. That's where we're at. And today's formulas are very, very similar to yesterday's. You have to do the study. You have to know the difference. You have to know them enough to be able to recall them without looking them up. Because if you're looking them up in a stressed situation, you will pick the wrong one. Okay? And how do I know? I've done this for 24 years. I already know where you're going to make the pitfalls. You're going to select the wrong formulas, and then it's going to be order of operation issues with your calculator. Those are the two big ones that people will make mistakes on knowing how to do stuff. Okay. Now, we got circle area. I expect you to put it down, write down the formula, write in your numbers. I don't do this because, the students need to see where it is. I do it because that's what I do when I do my problems. Okay? It's a presentation of your answer. It's not just an answer. It's a presentation on how you found it. Formula, numbers you plugged in, and your final answers. Okay? Keep in mind, I'm going to do the exact answer in terms of pi and the rounded answer. I need you to know how to do both. Okay, instead of doing 3 more or 4 more questions with that, I double it up in here. This is 16 because 16 is my radius. 256 is my pi is my exact answer. Okay, not multiply it out with pi. And then 804.25 is rounded to the 100th inches squared. Now it's your turn. Do B and know that you have to have radius. Go. Make sure you have a calculator up. I need to make sure you get these numbers, not just me. Okay, I always get people, I've got it all done, Bloom. I go, really? Why don't you use your calculator and get that value? And they have a hard time with it. You need to practice. Make sure you practice how to do these. I would absolutely think it's fantastic that everybody got an A on this test. But I know that people will just do enough to study, and that's where the grades come from. Don't do just enough, okay? Think about how hard you work when you do a presentation and you're up in front of class speaking, okay? I mean, that's a big deal. And everybody's, well, that's a major part of your grade. Folks, this is 10% of your grade every time you do a test, okay? 10% of your grade. 70% is test. Okay, each test is worth 10% of your grade. It's a big deal. Okay, and it was, it's okay. That's just 20%. That's just 30%. Well, eventually it's your whole grade. Make sure you recognize 10% of your grade is your test. Period. Each test is worth 10%. Chapter 1 was worth 10. 2, 3, 4. Okay, same thing with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the final. 7 tests, 70%. Each one's worth 10%. Okay, make sure you're focused on that. 11 goes in. 121 pi is in terms of pi. Popping it out, 380.13 to the 100th. I expect you to give it to me in the 100th if I don't state it. Okay? Now, this next one, we are going to practice with your fraction stuff, your fraction buttons on your calculator. You got 6.8. Pop that in. You get 46.24. I want you to come up with the fraction that 46.24 represents. Go. And then slap pi onto the side. There's a button for it. I need the people to know where it is. There's a button for it. You need to know how to go from the decimal to the fraction. No, it's 1/4. That's it. I think I put something down there wrong.
Yeah, because it's that, right?
46.24, right? I don't.
No, you missed the point.
Did I miss the point?
0.4.
Yeah. Go ahead, fix that bad boy. I was like, no, I definitely know that's the right answer.
So I put it in for 46.24 approximate diffraction and it came out as that. Is that
That's it.
really?
Yeah, 1,156 25ths. Okay, it's crazy, right? It's huge. Doesn't even look like it. That's why I want you to know. I'm doing it in terms of pi. Okay, and in terms of pi, exact answer has no decimals in it. Okay, has no decimal points in it, I should say. Okay, and then if I'm going to multiply it out, 145.27. You guys are on. It's time to read. Check out D. Go. Yeah. For your calculator, let's see, you've got a fraction. So I've got this. I should have a F to D button. See that green one right there? So I go here and get that. And yours is get it. Now, sometimes when you do that, you'll do the F to D and it's a mixed number. So then you go to the other set of fraction buttons. This one here that goes from mixed number to an improper fraction back and forth. And you mess with that to get it to the improper. Okay? Any other calculator issue clarification things? You guys are doing 1D. 1D. Make sure you get that bad boy right. Make sure you are able to do exact answer and approximate. That approximates to the 100th. Okay. Being able to do both is an important deal. Or is it? Why didn't I multiply and come up with 201? What did they ask my answer to be in? I'm a horrible person in terms of pi. Oh my. Okay, just make sure that we get that done and we pay attention to those directions. And people are like, well, it's the right answer. No, it's not the right form of the answer. If it was a multiple choice test, you'd be completely wrong. In this, I just take partial credit off. So you wouldn't get all the credit. And it just depends how much I allot for the problem, how much that credit would be. Okay? Now, sectors of a circle. A sector of a circle. I name it from the endpoint of the sector to the center of the circle, back out to the other endpoint of the sector. Okay, it's a 3-letter name. In this case, I got sector RPS. Now, we call them sectors because that it's not. Oh, it's a pie shape. And if you're into Trivial Pursuit, those little chit pieces. They're called CHIT chits. You get a little piece because you got a question right. Okay, as you go around. I want you to be aware that, think of all the things that are 3-letter names in geometry. Angles, 3-letter name. Triangles, 3-letter name. Planes, 3-letter name. And now sectors, another 3-letter name. That's why we have to put the word sector in front, okay? So we know what that looks like. Now, I want you to pay attention. This formula was yesterday's 10-6 arc length formula. This formula right here, the one we're doing today, is sector area formula. Look how close they are. And it's not proximity close. I was like, Bloom's going, hey, look how close they are. They're like on top of each other. Look at the arc measure. I've got arc measure on top. Arc measure on top, 360 on the bottom, pi r and a 2, pi r and a 2. Holy cow, they're like the same formula, except one's for the length of an arc length, and the other one's for the area of the sector. You have to pick the right one. And people are, well, it's close. Well, no, here's what it is. If I'm asking you to use a sector area formula and you pick the arc length formula, all 3 points are gone. I'm not going to give you partial credit for doing it wrong. Okay? You have to know the difference. You have to know the formula to pick for the situation you're working with. That's your study. You can't just kind of know it. Keep in mind, the results on that quiz yesterday, you had your notes. You had example problems, and we didn't do so great. We had an average of a 12. With notes, example problems should have had 14s. We have confusion on properties. We have confusion on what things are for shapes. We have confusion on what shapes are, what the shapes are to identify them to line up with a formula. That's your study. That's why I wanted you to write down the formula every time we did a problem so you could identify that formula with the shape you saw. Okay? That's why I'm doing it now. Keep doing it. Keep going through. As you reread your notes, it'll become more apparent and evident what shape goes with what formula. But if you just give me answers, there's no benefit to doing it that way. Okay? Finding the area of a sector. It is just taking a formula, knowing what pieces you need, and putting them in. It's order of operations. Okay? So make sure you take and make a picture. I've got a circle. Okay? It's got a radius of 4. I have a sector that's 45 degrees. Or I can say a 45-degree arc measure or central angle of 45 degrees. They are the same. And keep in mind, those are the only two things I need. 4 goes in for R. 45 degrees goes in for measure of arc AB. And I can find the solution. But if I didn't know that, oh, I'm just going to put it in for that sector thing and see what happens. Now, 45 3/60, that's 1/8. 4 squared is 16, so 16 divided by 8 is 2, so that's 2 pi. Okay, without a calculator. Now, with the calculator, it should be 2 pi as well, because remember, it's in terms of pi, so I don't multiply the pi. It shouldn't be 6.28. Okay, as we get going. Your turn, go ahead, do B and C. Remember, write down the formulas. Gave you kind of a hint on that last one, but write down the formula. If you're not writing down the formula, you don't give that opportunity yet to have another visual hit of what formula goes with what shapes you're looking for. There are some folks that are just doing enough to study and it's biting them in the butt. They're not doing well at all. And they're like, well, what's the deal? And it's like, you're not doing what I ask you to do. Please, 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 please write down the formulas underneath the shape you're looking for. So when you reread, you know exactly what you're identifying. Area of a sector. Sector area is the pie wedge, the cheesy covering of your pizza, okay, all the way through. Arc measures 72 degrees. Also central angle 72 degrees, it's the same deal. 72 3/60, pi, r is 15. I just go after it. It's 45 pi. That's the, in terms of pi answer. I pop it in my calculator round to the 100th. 2 digits after the decimal is the 100th. The 10th is 1. The 1000th is 3. And the last one, check to make sure you can get 53.01. Fat fingeritis is the problem with being successful in this chapter section. In section 7, that's the thing that really just blows it out of the water for folks. Being able to use their calculator properly. Okay. Can I do C? I'm not quite done with it. I just wanted to make sure you guys got 53. But remember, it's 75. Central angle, arc measure, 16/875, right? But if I want the fraction, I use my fraction key in my calculator, 1/35. Okay? Make sure you recognize the difference between the area formula and the arc length formula. 2 pi r will give you circumference. Pi r squared will give you area. Okay? They're the same darn things. They're just positioned in different spots. Okay? Any follow-ups? You okay? Okay? Now, here's the thing. Today, we are working with sectors And you know, you're all like, okay, cool, Bloom, you got this really cool thing, and I have a circle and I cut out a sector. You okay with that being a sector of my circle? Just popped it right out. Now, this sector has, if I cut across, cut the domey part off, has a triangle in it. And I don't know, think about a sugar cone with ice cream on top. And I'm just peeled off the ice cream so it's flat against the sugar cone. Okay? It's a really wide sugar cone. But what we're working with is called segment of a circle. Segment of a circle is part of a circle bounded by an arc in the segment. So this yellow part in this picture is the segment of the circle. That's what I want to find. I've got to find the sector area, subtract off the triangle, and I get the area of the segment of the circle. Bless you. But check it out. I got the arc, I subtract off the triangle, and I'm left with this sector, you know, this segment of a circle area. And I'm giving you a formula. I cannot tell you how important this formula is. Matter of fact, I have students who will come up and go, Bloom, I totally didn't have that. And I say, I don't know why. I put a little star by it in notes and said, put this in your note card because it's going to be asked on the test. And you got to know how to use it. And they go, well, yeah, but I didn't put it on there. Well, dude, I can't help you. That was your choice. Nobody else's. I told you to do it. Okay? Please listen to the old guy who's actually written the test and going to grade it. Okay? So, what is the formula? It's the area of a sector. I have it right here. Area of a sector. And then it's the area of a triangle. Oh, heck. I've seen that area of a triangle formula. Okay? And we just use them together. Make sure you get that down. After you get it down, use it on 3A. You just need two pieces of information to work both sides of the formula. Two pieces of information to work both sides of the formula. Please notice what I'm doing. I take the sector, I subtract the triangle, and in each one of them, I want to emphasize, I have to find the sector area, I have to subtract off a triangle. Okay? I have to find the sector area, I have to subtract off the triangle. Well, what does that? That formula we just wrote down. In all three situations, that's the formula I'm going to use. Okay? That's it. Go. Now, on this one, more so than any other, plugging in the numbers to get the answer. Do not use 3.14. Use pi unless otherwise told to. Use something else. I expect to see pi key on your calculator used. If you truncate that and you're rounding throughout, you're not going to get the same answer as me. And consequently, I'm going to give you a rounding error subtraction of your points. Please know that. Give it a practice. Make sure you can come up with things that are there. That number that's there is a big deal. It shouldn't be close. It should be exact. This is not English. It's not how you feel about the problem. Okay, or social studies about an opinion about some sort of thing that's going on. This is a stone cold fact. Thank you, dear. I did this middle line here just so I could do it quicker in my calculator. You didn't have to. You can enter everything under your calculator from line 2, straight up. But it should be 29.35. If you're having problems with entering your calculator, let's talk. Okay? Do B, do C, look left, look right. Make sure you can do them. Write them out, get them done. Holt, where are you, man? Ah. Okay. He's going to be like, why are they talking about me in class? It's like, we always talk about you. And whenever you're not here, we talk about you all the time. This is proof. Yeah. Try not to show up. We'll talk about you. Okay. Are you okay with plugging 4 in for R, 90 in for arc measure? Okay. 4 in for R, 90 in for central angle. Did you know that the central angle and the arc measure are the same measure? They're both the same. We have to know that. This is a great problem for us to review that with. Once we get that done, we're off to the races with, oh, that should be a sign. Oh, sine of 90 is 1, so we're fine. Okay, so I got 4.57. Are you doing okay? Are there any issues with calculators? We're doing all right? Do the last one. I know I got my cave drawings up here. Pi piece minus triangle plus gives me crust looking stuff. But make sure you can do that segment of a circle area formula, and you know that that's what it's for. You'll be asked to find the area of a segment of a circle. Do the last one, get her done. See what up. Plug them in. Get them going before I get there. I cannot emphasize the importance of experience on each one of the things we do to prepare for this test. That's why we do the practice tests that we do. That's why we make sure that you got them done. That's why they're available online for you to check them out to be successful. Last one. Here we go. 120. Central angle. 120 is my arc measure. Okay? 2 is my radius. And that's where everything goes. 2's there. 120 is there. 120 is there. 2 is there. All right, let's pop it in. I got a third. That's 2.46 meters squared. Are there any questions? Okay. I'm telling you, if you're having difficulty with your calculator, get it worked on and fixed today. Learn what's going on today. Okay. That's it for notes. Hopefully everything's going well, and those folks that are at home can print off the worksheet that we just handed out in class.